Hello, I'm Elizabeth Webb, your yoga lifestyle coach. So today I can't go back to like depression, sadness. Have you ever experienced, being so sad and you can't get out of it? Or you got the blues and you don't know how to just get out of yourself? Well, hopefully today's episode will help with all of that because, I want to talk about getting clear of the things that hold us down. And sometimes we say things like that are hereditary. Oh my God, like my dad. My dad was diagnosed, with depression, schizophrenia, paranoia, and, my sister claims that for herself. And, I feel that. So maybe it is hereditary. But I do more than just manage it. I live a whole different lifestyle. I embrace yoga. So as your coach today, I want to, of course, tell you that if you want to be free from what holds you back, this show might not be for you. Because hopefully you can break out of, whatever is holding us down. And sometimes just doing deep breathing can get us out of whatever funk we might be in. And, oh, yes, I know, I hear it. You've been diagnosed. You have a diagnosis. Yes, okay, let's honor that. Doctors, they know what they're doing. Yet, let's also bring something into the picture so that we can live a more vibrant life. And so deep breathing can be something, if you get with a good yoga therapist like myself to, coach you through, to teach you some deep breathing so that you're breathing from the diaphragm, you're expanding the ribs, and then you feel the chest moving on that inhale, and everything releases on the exhale. Or there's what I like, probably in the privacy of your home. It's called the breath of joy. Let's do that together. So in the breath of joy, you take a deep breath in, take more air in, fill up your lungs all the way, and then the legs are nice and wide, and exhale it out. So it looks like this. Ah. 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 And yeah, kind of gives you the giggles too. And another pose that I like that opens up the heart. And sometimes when we're not doing so well, we let our chest concave inward, and we let our shoulders roll inward. And then, we have this poor posture. So this peaceful warrior one, whatever you want to call it, I like to call it reverse warrior, but peaceful warrior is what some call it. And we take a nice warrior, nice wide lunge stance. And then the back arm goes down the back leg. And then the front arm comes up and over. And we're breathing through the side ribs. We're helping to open up the chest. And then, of course, we're doing yoga. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. Keeping that chest lifted, using the belly muscles to lift the chest, bring the lower ribs in with the strength of the belly, lifting up, opening up. One more breath. Oh. And sometimes we need a little bit more blood in our head. So then we could just do a forward fold. And that can be so beneficial to get us out of a mood that we might be stuck in. And from there, we can come into a Cobra Pose. So in the Cobra Pose, and we'll just do it Sphinx style. So here, we're pressing our forearms down into the ground. We're bringing the elbows toward us, and almost like we want to slide forward, we're bringing the chest forward. And look how open this is for the heart. And so instead of letting our heart be closed off, this is a wonderful pose to energetically open up the heart. Legs are extending back. We're focusing on deep breaths in and out through the nose. And sometimes if we're too wound up, an exhalation through the mouth is helpful to release the stress. So this can be a wonderful pose to lighten the mood. And then another posture is our cat-cow, where we come onto all fours, hands and knees. And so we were just doing the Sphinx pose, and from there we were trying to take that chest forward. And we can actually do that same thing here. And before we talk about doing that, let's talk about, I like to talk about the belly and how strong our belly muscles can be. So with the toes tucked under, think about lifting the knees off the ground. And see, notice my knees, how they're off the ground, just not even an inch. And so I'm using that effort of the top of my shins, the top of my feet, to push down into the ground. And then that is engaging the belly muscles just by pressing the bottom of the legs, the front of the shins, down into the ground. So then when you're exhaling, pressing the legs down, you can really feel the abdominal muscles engage, and then you get that beautiful round in this part of the back as well. Of course, we always can get it easily because we all hunch so much. So we want the whole back to round with that exhalation, not just between our shoulder blades. And then as we inhale, here, let's open up the heart here. And let's think about the muscles rolling open in the upper arms and palms pressing down into the ground. And the length, the strength and length of the abdominal muscles are helping to bring the chest forward. And that just feels so good. And that's guaranteed to lighten any depression, sadness, any blues that's going on. Because when we coordinate the back and forth movement with our breath, exhaling in this Halloween cat, inhaling in the swayed down cow pose, it has a wonderful effect on our nervous system. So if it's bringing our nerves, our nervous system into balance, well then whatever is out of balance is guaranteed to come into balance, even if it's just for a few minutes after you've done this pose. But isn't a few minutes of wonderful balance, isn't that so beneficial? I think so. And so, just taking some time, and like today, is one of those days where it's kind of dark and dingy outside, and then sometimes, our spirit can be dark and dingy. So even though, I have some issues going on, it doesn't have to be what I claim that I am. I remember doing one of my previous episodes on meditation, and I talk a lot about how we can be different within ourselves. So in a minute here, I'd like to introduce you to the spinal twist. Here, we are going to do a spinal twist. In our spinal twist, taking our knee, bending the knee, and bringing that all the way over the body, trying to bring the shoulders out to the side, and we want the back, the upper back, to stay on the ground so we can feel a nice stretch through that pectoral muscle. And we're holding this pose maybe 3 to 5 breaths. And then we can change sides. I always like to do a little bit of a knee squeeze. Oh, yes, that feels so good. So that we can change sides. And as we switch to the other side, we can bring our arms out and, oh, yes. So keeping that shoulder down, bringing the hips across, feeling that stretch wherever you're feeling it. Maybe it's through the back, maybe it's through the gluteus muscles. Maybe you're feeling that somewhere else. And of course, if you refer back to one of my previous episodes that we've called it Spirit Talk, you can hear how my husband is describing his take on the spiritual aspect of how he thinks of life and everything. Okay, in that first episode I did, we are talking about the camel. So again, allow me to share the camel pose. And of course, if you want more information, you can refer to that first episode where we talk about the 3 different aspects of how to bring more energy into your life. And in the camel pose, we can start with our toes tucked under, and then our heels are a little bit higher. So then we can open up the chest by bringing one hand to that heel. We try to keep the hips in alignment with the knees. And then we can see, how does that feel if we take the other arm and bring it to that other foot. And then let's see how that feels if we bring both hands. Where's that heel? There it is. And so then we're opening up the chest, we're squeezing the shoulder blades together, and we're extending up and over. So we're not just leaning back, we're lengthening up and back. Oh, such a wonderful heart opener, releasing anything that might be holding us down. Here I am again, suggesting that you tune in to my episode about sun salutations for more information. But let's go through sun salutation together right now. So we'll take a deep breath in, and then we'll press our palms together in front of our heart. And then we'll extend up, over and back, just like we did previously in our Camel Pose, going for that back bend. And our forward fold, just releasing. And then we move into a lunge. We can stay up, the knee off the ground. And I like to take a deep breath here and then move into, looks like a push-up pose, but in yoga we call this the plank. And then releasing down. And here's the part that I think is so helpful if we have any depression, anxiety, if we've got the blues, anything that opens up the chest is so beneficial to lift our spirit. And then downward facing dog. We'll take that right leg, that same leg again, and we'll step it up into a lunge. And then we'll fold forward. We can do a half lift. And again, a half lift is exposing the heart forward. Exhale. Keep the knees bent. Extend the arms. Press through the heels. Come up. And again, please tap into that episode about sun salutations, because I describe 3 different ways of doing the sun salutation, and it again is a wonderful opportunity to allow us to let go of any down feelings that we might be having, because the sun salutation lifts us up. All right. Of course, you can tune into any of my episodes to watch any parts of them. So let's start with the fish here in the studio today. And in the fish pose, we're going to lie on our back. And then we can lift the hips up. One side of the hip lifts up as we bring the arm underneath. And then the other hip rolls over and we bring the hands. So my thumbs are right next to each other. My palms are down. My buttocks is on my forearms. And now I'm going to straighten my legs. And I'm going to try to bring my elbows even closer together than they are. So I have to come up to sitting to do that. So I've propped myself up onto my elbows and I brought them closer together. And now I'm going to place the top of the head on the ground. And that opens up the chest. And if this pose doesn't lighten up your spirit, I don't know what could. So much oxygen can come into that fully expanded chest. Oh, so delightful. We can do a little bit of a counterbalance. We can do the tabletop. And in the tabletop, sitting, legs nice and long, feet are hip width apart, hands are right next to the hips. Take a deep breath in. And then coming up, lifting up. So we're trying to lift the chest up. We're pressing through the hands and pressing the knees away from us, taking the head, reaching it, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And I don't know if you can notice when I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together, it's helping to lift up my chest. So I need a little bit more strength in order to squeeze those shoulder blades together. That's all I got today. And then from here, we can do something that strengthens our abdomen. And anytime we can strengthen our abdominal muscles, I think that can make us happier. I think we all, as a society, I think we all are nice and happy when our belly muscles are a little bit stronger. So, slow motion, we can slowly lie down on our back. And we can open ourselves up into the corpse pose. So we're taking our feet and bringing our feet almost to the edge of the mat, the outer edge of the mat. And then we're letting the feet kind of flop away from each other. And then the arms are maybe a foot or two away from the side of the body. And we're just letting our body sink into the earth and just giving way. So we had a good yoga practice today. You allowed me to demonstrate the various postures that are on some of my other previous episodes. And now we do absolutely nothing to allow the body to absorb the benefits of all the poses that we did today. So let's just lie here in silence. We're not even concentrating on any of our yoga types of breathing. We're just trusting that the body breathes naturally, normally, all on its own. We know that this is beneficial for the parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and digest part of us. Calms down the sympathetic nervous system, that fight or flight. Deep relaxation, Shavasana, corpse pose. Hey, if we're a corpse, we can be totally relaxed. Allow yourself to continue to relax on the ground, or gently bring yourself up to sitting whenever you're ready. And thank you for joining us in an episode where we are trying to lift our spirit out of any depression, any of the blues, any of the heaviness that we might have. So if this is a normal posture for you, see if yoga can help lift the heart, open the chest. Because I'm a firm believer that if we open up, maybe everything else will follow along, the emotions and the spirit and the energy, if we open up the physical body. Namaste.